Welcome into Horse Talk, everybody. Season 2, late episodes. Not sure which one. Honored to be here tonight with the one and only Pawnopoly. Welcome in.
How's it going, everybody? This is
Thanks
the
for
first time I
yeah.
purposely have shown myself. But if you were around during the earlier years, you have seen my mug many a times when my camera was not working correctly.
Yeah, dude. We all been watching looking at all the wedding photos and everything. Anyway, everybody knows what you look like. We just don't get to see you. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
what you been doing, man? I've been texting you for like an hour. What's where have you been?
Oh, we had a little hiccup right before uh situation that popped up that needed my attention. But we sorted it out. It's all good and gravy. Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes things just kind of happen. You know,
I
that's
had to
that's
put I had to text Mimolo. I'm like, where's Pawn? He's like, he'll be there. Oreo's like, he'll be there. I'm like, it's 9:57. Where's Pawn?
yeah, my bad.
So I'm a little more of a, I guess I'm a little more of a planner, but cool, man. But look, welcome in. I don't have an agenda or anything like that for us tonight. I figure we could just bullshit a bunch. I know you had mentioned the other day that you've been working on a project or some thoughts on some projects, either in the Discord or even streaming potentially a while back. What's going on with you right now, or any future plans for stuff like that?
For like Pawnopoly as a whole, yeah. The I had to take a little bit. I had to slow it down a little bit. Just with I was making a lot of jokes when I was streaming last year. I was like, man, I'm in the trenches. That was real. I was just struggling,
Yeah,
and that's just the way it was. So like Monopoly, kind of became, it was like a hobby thing. Then it became like, oh man, I have to like really spend a lot of time here planning, thinking, doing all that good stuff, and it's because of last year with the wedding and just family and jobs, moving around, all that stuff. I had to kind of pause on a lot of stream ideas that I had wanted to do and start on and move them over to this year. So uh, I'm pretty much going more into what I used to do, which is more like a boutique style. People would vibe with like, bar fights was coined from the idea of the chillness of the culture, and like it just felt like that. Felt like you just go hang out, chill, get some goodies, and just bullshit. And then from there, also like teetering to wholesaling a bit more often, and getting more involved into that, and any other types of like theme shows and all that stuff. So a lot of that stuff's in the planning stages. I've been wanting to kind of set up a timeline, but the reality is with life, I
yeah.
have to be cognizant of like, take care of my bills. I'm moving in with the wife. I'm like, and I've just kind of slowed it down, and I'm just looking to maintain at least a consistent stream schedule for now. Um, one or two shows a week, and then continue working. But there's no like, thorough planning as of yet, you know.
Yeah, and the beauty of whatnot, I mean, you just have fun with it, you know.
Oh yeah, for
Speaking
sure.
of that, we got everybody live here tonight. I'm sure that we'll see a bunch of stuff dropping in the chat. If you guys do have any particular topics, please let us know. We will try to touch on them. Congrats on the wedding, man.
Thank you.
Big deal. Major life event, maybe the most major life event for some folks as
Yeah.
well. So congrats. How's that? How's it being a married man now?
I mean, it's like that's my identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, my father-in-law asked me that actually. So,
yeah,
and it's like it was this thing, and if you followed me for the past couple years, I talked about it all the time. And it was like I talked about the engagement. I talked about like I'm planning this, and then everybody's like, "When are you doing it?" And then it happened, and it's like this is what we're planning. So like little piece by piece, like people got the whole puzzle put together just by kind of listening along. So like there is no like negative connotation. Like we poured out our heart and soul into getting this all together. The family came and made it all happen. My wife's actually right here.
okay, nice. You got her
you
cut
know,
off just
she's
perfectly.
back there. And
Awesome.
yeah, I am a husband and I freaking live that. Like, there's
Yeah.
no, I don't forget about it. I don't like, oh yeah, that's just how I identify as and how I think and how I plan for, the future and my job. And even though being in that transitionary stage of like, what do I need to do? How can I take care of my family? I'm just there and really appreciate it. I feel really blessed. Like
Yeah.
what's up,
Dude,
Italian?
man, the bar fights are so much fun. I've caught myself in the middle of one of those one time. You kind of forget how much you're spending when you get in the mix of a bar fight. You're just like, I don't care. I'm gonna win. I gotta win it. You got the music playing. I think I won MiG 29 or something like that sealed, and I just put like $500 as max bid, and I was like, I'm just gonna win. No matter what, I'm
Just
just gonna
walking
win.
down. Oh,
So
the sealed MiG.
yeah, it was one of
Yeah,
them. It's either MiG 29 or something else. Matt always buys all my sealed stuff back in the day, so he probably ended up with it
that's funny.
eventually. But yeah, man, it's what the most memorable moment for me. I've probably seen 100 of your shows. Uh, the freaking no banner Mega Mans. Like
Oh yeah,
not one but two.
yeah. We got two at the same time. That was crazy.
How is that
That
even
was an
possible?
accident. Uh, I don't know. I got a knack for finding things. That's
Well, tell us about
um,
that, man. Like
man.
if you're just starting out finding things, what's some advice you'd give the people? And then if you've been doing it for a while, what is maybe a hidden gem or something we should be looking for that maybe we're not looking for?
That with any type of market, it's anyone that has the most knowledge is going to be ahead of the game. That's like this bottom line. So like for me, when I like started getting into more like retro stuff, I spent like months like just learning about like what is interesting, it's not just about like the financial stuff, and because like cardboard isn't necessarily expensive for the wrong system. That's my cat. And so I had to like sit there and go, okay, why are people interested in this, and why is that, and why is this, and like Nintendo is so much easier than something like Atari, you know, or even like Sega's a little weird too. And it's like it's Nintendo has rabbit holes, but it's like streamlined rabbit holes. Like if you're just looking to collect every single licensed Nintendo game, you can do that. If you want to sit there and explore a little more, you can, and then you'll find about black box and print variants, and then you'll find about Capcom variants, and then you sit there and you learn more about Capcom, and you'll find about all the inserts that go in there, and then you figure out, okay, all the date codes, and then like what, and it's like, but everything can kind of be layered, and it goes back to knowledge. And like, so the bottom line, people always ask, where do you get this stuff? How do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And I'm just a dude, man. I don't have a lot of money where I can drop like 10 G's and like get a whole collection and stuff like that. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
there's no there is no like, dude, I got a spot. It's everywhere. There's spots everywhere. It's everywhere you could think of. That's the way it is, man. I've gone into game stores, and Retro Memolo, I took him, I call it the gauntlet, and I would go into like 14 stores.
Jesus.
These are people that know their stuff. These are people that have really good inventories, nice things. And I would find stuff in their stores. And that's where I found that sealed. It was a brand new seal. One of the hockey games. I forgot who bought it.
Oh, I remember
Uh,
what it is. Was that the NHLPA or something like
yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was in a store. I tell you how much I paid. I paid $20 for it.
And Memolo's too
Because
short to
that's how
find it,
they have
huh?
it.
And Memolo was too
I
short to
found,
see it.
yeah, that, and I found little Samson posters in stores. I found,
Jeez.
and then like that's it's the finding the stuff, and then it's also like you, being willing to actually talk to people. That's the other component. Like if you just kind of go in there, and they'll know, man. Like people at work, they know if you're a flipper or something like that.
Right.
So if they don't kind of like your vibe, they won't really talk to you. They won't really. engage with you. But I remember one time, Retro Memolo was with me. We went to a store, and I was talking to the guy for like 30 minutes, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys have any manuals?" And he goes, "Yeah, we do." He goes to the back, and he pulls out fucking boom, two big boxes of just crispy mint manuals. And Graham, that's where that Formula One manual, I bought it from that guy, came from. And and I'm looking through stuff, and Memelo is like, "Bro, try to buy everything."
Huh.
And I'm like, "We can't." It's like,
Yeah.
we have to have a good rapport. And and I bought like 30 manuals from him, and he worked the deal for him. And it was like, but now every time I go over there, if I go there and I ask him, he'll pull it out for me, and he only does it for a couple people. That's like rapport is super important, man. So it's knowledge, and you gotta meet people, you gotta talk, you gotta engage, because you can find stuff anywhere, you know.
It's a very similar. I think it's a very similar concept on Whatnot. Like I run a bin show. We're running it right now, right? So there's 1,000 items in the bin and all of that. And like a first time buyer might send you an offer for 35% off, and like it's just gonna be a no. They'll be like, I like to not lose money,
Yeah,
but
think about it.
sometimes we got guys that buy stuff every single show, and maybe they buy it at 5% off, 10% off, regular price, whatever. And then if they ask for 20 on something, you're 100 times more likely to give it to them because they've already bought 50 items.
Yeah,
So it happens
yeah,
all the time on here. And then it was kind of funny. We actually got into it the other night with somebody. It was a real nice guy, but I held a game for somebody, and I don't really do that. But it was
yeah,
somebody that's purchased 150 games from me, so like I know they're
yeah,
going to come back and get
yeah,
it.
150.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm just exaggerating, but it was they were it was done deal. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I
Yeah,
need it on Monday. I'm like, sure, no problem. And then somebody else was like, well, why wouldn't you hold mine? I'm like, because I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I've
yeah,
literally
yeah,
never seen your username before. So no, I will not hold it for you. So, and sure as shit, my guy came back on Monday, bought it, no problem. And guess what? He bought another game with it. So yeah, I'm not, look, holding is hard for a seller, right? You know that too, because sometimes you need things to be liquid, you need them to move. Sometimes you can hold them, sometimes you can't hold them.
yeah,
But it is nice when you can help somebody out that you know is going to be, loyal. They're going to come back. They're going to hold their word. If they said they're going to pay for it, they can pay for it and all that.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you end up,
absolutely.
so is this that source at the game store? I assume it's game store, right? With all the manuals.
What?
That was a game store with all the manuals. The guy that brought out like the big giant box of all the mint manuals. Was that like a local
Yeah,
game store?
yeah, yeah. It was the game store lore in Florida is really interesting, because a lot of the guys, they all started in the same flea market 20 years ago.
Oh, really?
And so he was one of the stores from that flea market, and they all know of each other to some degree, but now they're all retail locations.
So when you're
So
buying those manuals, they're probably texting each other, be like, "This guy just came in and bought 30 manuals, and here's his face."
no, they hate each other.
Oh,
Like there's an appreciation where it's like I can like go and talk to some of them, and then they'll be like, "Oh, what's this guy?" And they'll ask me about it. I was like, "What are they doing? Oh, are they opening up another location?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'll tell them. It doesn't matter." Um, the but yeah, there is a there is a they don't like each other.
really? Okay.
They respect each other,
Yeah.
but they're like there's a I don't know if it's animosity, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Our game stores are pretty weak around here. Like there's one that's okay, but the retro stuff is so outrageously priced you can never buy anything anyway. Uh,
yeah,
so for us, actually, the pawn shops, go figure with pawn on here, the pawn
yeah,
shops are really the best avenue for us. And I've got one really close to the house. They know me by first name. They pretty much text me when something comes in now, which is great. And some of the stuff I collected, some of the stuff I flip it, but I tell them straight up. I'll be like, hey, I can only pay this for it. If you want to sell it, let me know. They're like, hey, come back on next Thursday. If I have it,
yeah,
I'll sell it to you for that. I'm like, perfect.
yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah,
And once you have a little bit of inventory behind you, you feel less pressured on those situations too. So That's one thing I've noticed as we've kind of built up inventory over the last year or so is some weeks I do great. I get a lot of stuff. Some weeks I don't get anything, you know. But the thrill of the hunt is really the best part. I could go without selling whatsoever. I just want to go find the shit. So
Sorry,
which cat's name?
this is the boy. His name's Soul.
Soul.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Nice.
it's like inventory is stability. Like it's a really interesting, because from a selling point, it's an asset. So like, even if you don't have liquidity and flow, you still have like, okay, at the end of the day, if I need to do da 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 da, you could, it's like, and and that's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need, like you said, sometimes we need that liquid.
Stan man, I saw your comment on that. You never see the cartridge games. It's kind of funny that my local pawn shop, I've probably purchased at least 100 cartridge games, which is pretty good. But I've actually gotten two uh, CIB Super Nintendo Juniors in the same pawn shop for 75 bucks a piece twice,
That's sick.
which is awesome. So the
That's
first
sick.
one, so the first one was actually pretty cool, man, because they had it and they wanted 125 for it. I'm like, I can't really do anything, but I thought about just buying it to keep it because I didn't have one at the time. I was like, it's not bad, you know. So it might be
Yeah,
a little high. It's not bad. So I asked them about it. They're like, hey, we just got it. We can't really come down on it. And I came back the next week and they still couldn't do anything. She's like, but come back next week. She's like, I think I could do like 90 bucks next week. Cause they have like a timetable in their computer. She can
yeah,
see
yeah,
like when it's going to drop.
yeah,
So, bro, I go in there. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it. And honestly, it was just for me to put it on that TV back there. I wanted to play it.
yeah,
So she's like, okay, let me go grab the stuff for it. So she takes it out of the case. It's just a loose one with one controller, no cables or anything.
yeah.
She comes back with the box.
The box.
And I'm like, and I remember I texted Matt. I'm like, I'm trying to play it cool. She's got the Super Nintendo's in the box, and
Start shaking.
yeah, dude, I never saw a SNES Junior in the box at that point. I mean, I hadn't been in the game doing this stuff that long, but like, I was like, holy crap! Why didn't I ask about that 2 weeks ago? Hey, are any of
Yeah,
these in the box, or are they all just loose? You know. So now I
yeah,
ask them. I go in there. I'm like, hey, is everything in there just by itself, or anything got the box? So without trying to like tip them off too much that the box is worth a bunch of money, but they don't really care. They probably give somebody 20 bucks for that thing. So,
yeah. That's
uh,
and that's even like when you see that, that's the other part of that truth,
yeah,
where it's like, yeah, they probably gave him 20 bucks for it, and it's like, whoa.
yeah, man. It's been pretty
Yeah,
cool. It's been pretty cool now. So the relationship's now to a point where I go in, I'll pick out 8 or 9 games. It doesn't matter what the price is on the shelf. That all that is null and void. They bring it behind the counter. She gives me my price. And 90% of the time it's good. And I'm like, yep, that works. So
yeah.
uh so on an inventory wise, do you like hold things or do you find it, sell it, go find it again, sell it again? Are you rolling or are you holding things for certain shows? Like how does it work for you?
Oh, I'm a like I'm still kind of a wholesaler, like, and that's probably my so when I always say that, I always say like, oh yeah, I was a wholesaler before whatnot. Um and so like that mentality of always having liquidity is like that's how I am. I'm very analytical, even if I'm doing like boutique style shows and stuff like that. Like stuff is designed to sell, and it's so there's the way I operate is there's short term, mid term, long term holds, and short term is stuff that I can sometimes I can move it in 12 hours. Midterm is I give it like a 2 week timestamp in my head, sometimes a little longer, sometimes like 6 weeks, if need be. And then long term is, it could take 3 to 6 months sometimes. It just kind of depends. So like that's why you'll hear me say like, oh, I had this for a year or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just the way I organize stuff. But generally speaking, if I'm like full momentum, full steam ahead type stuff, is I will move. Let's say let's just use percentage, like 100% of product. I'll move 35, 40% first week. and then I move like another 20% of that existing thing, right? And it kind of just stacks and stuff, and then like I'll hold maybe 30% of what's coming in, and
Yeah.
I just kind of follow that full steam, you know. So
Yeah.
it's
And, and we know you're using Whatnot or using any other sources, using eBay or Marketplace or Craigslist or does Craigslist still exist? But like, what else are you using?
that's where the drug.
That's where the drugs are. Yeah. That's where all the hookers are.
I
Yeah.
I have a pretty big network of like people I can sell to. Um, just like it's pretty stacked actually, you know. And it was that's how I met Retro Memolo. I was selling to him. He was buying my he was buying my NES because I would do I would do I think when I joined Whatnot, I probably had like I don't know like 300 CIBs or something, and like the so what I would do is I would prep these wholesale lots for NES, and then I would look to see what were the margins people were selling at, and most of the times it was like 15-20% above retail, at least locally, and then that's what I priced everything around. So I was selling uh nest lot, and it didn't matter what was in there too. I want to be clear about that, but it
Right.
was what mattered was the average. And I would do like it was like super specific, like 73.4% or some shit like that. And, and then that I just set in that. So I would do lots, and then I was like, "Oh, you want this? This is the price, flat price." I do the breakdown, full market analytics for the past 3 months, and then people would be like, "Yes, no, yes, no, yes." Boom, moved, and that's how. That's when I sold the Tournament Fighters and the Ducktales 2 and Ducktales 1 and Zombies Ate My Neighbor. That was one lot. So I sold that all as one piece. And I went to a convention, and I never did this before. I want this to be very clear. There was no like I had an idea. I went to a couple garage sales and I was like, all right, I think I got
Yeah.
it. And then I sold Mike Tyson's Punch Out to a store, and I sold that for 400 because at the time it was going for about 650. So I went there, I showed everything, he bought it, and then I met who's someone that I'd been doing business with at least at this point for almost 4.5, 5 years. Well, I met him for the first time, and I was like, we just kind of went back and forth, and he offered me 1,200. I remember that initially for the Ducktales 2, for the Tournament Fighters, for the that whole lot, and I was very firm, like pretending like I had another person to sell this to,
Yeah.
and we ended up settling on 1,650, and he said, "Done." He still has Tournament Fire. He never sold it, but that's besides the point. He just
Yeah.
wanted it for advertising purposes and stuff. He sold the Ducktales 2. I remember that, like same week. The but it was like that. I owned Tournament Fighters for like 12 hours. It
Yeah.
was so it was just in and out, and then like, and that was before I was doing peer to peer. I was meeting different stores, different owners, people that were into retail, people that are doing eBay, people that are doing, and then I met a bunch of whatnotters, you know, and they this was like 3 years ago, and they were like NES, whoa, you
Yeah.
know, so. And then I was selling to the whatnotters for a little while too. Yeah,
Right.
dude. So it was yeah. So hey, some stuff now it's like some of the stuff I might keep for like 10, 12 hours. If I'm full steam ahead and I tell you guys, if I'm streaming, I'm like, this ain't gonna be here tomorrow. It's
Right.
not gonna be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gone, you know. So and it's yeah, I try to be open about that. So with Whatnot, it's like I love the Whatnot community. So it's very much like I want to give you guys a chance to get this stuff
Mhm.
before I go and reach out to all these people here. So, but yeah, that's a lot of the contacts were from wholesaling.
I hear that. I hear that pretty regularly too. I actually heard it tonight. We were obviously in Matt's room right before this, and Matt had a game. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna run it on my next show. Like, I hope somebody here takes it." However, I know this is going to sell really quickly on another platform, so you can have a shot at it. It does feel good to sell it to particularly people that you've chatted with or you've seen in your shows before. Like, even if it's a slightly less money, it still feels better to sell it that way.
Yeah,
But one thing that we're always trying to get across sometimes to buyers too is like certain items, like things that are heavy, or I say heavy, whatever, they're expensive, right? You're sitting on a $600 game. You can only sit on that for so long before that game starts hurting you a little bit, because that you could have bought a different lot. You could have flipped it. So
yeah,
some of those times when it's like, hey, for real, I'm going to run this, and if you want it, you better take it because it can't stay here long. And look, we did it the other night. We got a Biker Mice from Mars, CIB on SNES, and I had never had that game before.
yeah,
And it was kind of hurting my hands because I knew how expensive it was when what I paid for it was pretty expensive as well. And I was like, guys, just get this out of here. I'm like, I just need the very minimal. Just fucking take it. And I ran it, and sure as shit, it got purchased, and I was kind of relieved. I'm like, all right, don't buy no more $500 games. And then
yeah,
today,
yeah.
and then I bought another $500 game. So just just got to kind of stop doing that. But those heavy
It's
things, man, they're
yeah,
stressful.
like with with those types. I will tell people, I'm like, hey, you guys shouldn't buy these. Like, I'll be like, buy $300 games, because like sometimes the market would just be like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just too expensive. It's the 1% of people that can actually purchase this stuff. And yeah, dude, every time I do it, I literally say I'm not gonna do it again. So we had a couple Mega Man X2s, and I was like, they sold and they did
yeah,
well, but they took like 90 days,
yeah,
and you have a $500 game sitting on the shelf. It's like, man, I could have bought five Funtastics, and we could have just like
yeah,
distributed to the world,
yeah,
versus this one game. And it is kind of fun though. Today I picked up a, Dragon Warrior 4 CIB. I never had that one before, and once again I did it to myself, and I'm like, golly, I hope it goes quickly when I get it because I don't want to be sitting on this Dragon Warrior 4. So but yeah, I do it over and over. So we got your
that's funny.
kind of your flow of things going. Any collection stuff? Do you want to collect? Are you collecting? I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but not everybody's heard it before. What's your thoughts on collection?
Wait, Graham's asking, do you think having that heavy works as advertising to show people you're? I I would
Yeah,
say,
that's
like,
interesting.
yeah, absolutely. Like, that's why some retail locations will pay up for certain products, because it shows that. Like, if you have a stadium events in your store,
Yeah.
yo, they can get stadium events. And I there's a store in Tampa. They're called M&M Gaming, and they sold a stadium events a year and a half ago. That's a cool thing for me to say, that I know a local store
Mhm.
sold a stadium events. You know what I mean? So 100%, they do dish out for the more premium products for certain things, just for that. And like sometimes you get a good deal, and it like the buck. I had that Bucky O'Hare, that full CIB, and I ran it for that day, and I separated it because I figured most people had the cart,
Yeah, I remember that.
and would want, right, the box and inserts. But I didn't know how it was going to go. And the way the market was at the time, I mean, there were like it was like 650 to like 800 for the CIB. And I was like, I can't, you know, so I went, spoke to somebody that was really serious looking for that. That person was waiting to see how whatnot went. That didn't go, that was gone.
Right.
And like they were just waiting in the pocket. But like sometimes when it's stuff like that, I will look to set up and just kind of see it, and go to get like a grid of like who would pay for what. And if I have to let it go, you know, I'll still look to optimize, but at the same time, it's like if it got to go, it got to go, and put a time limit on something. And it's like I feel like uh so for the collecting portion, I'm not even, my brain's not even that. I got like 4 games right now.
Well,
Because
well,
I just,
Pawn. The
yeah,
reason
it's
I
just
the reason I asked that is because you actually have 5 games and you just don't know about one yet. So,
oh,
on behalf of Horse Talk and the mods in here, so Sweet Oreo, Matt's Retro World, Just Thrifting, Retro Rebel Gaming, We bought you a beautiful
Oh, that's
Crystallis
sweet of y'all, man.
for you, not to sell it, but to go into your collection. I know, dude, I've been listening to you talk about this freaking game for like a year and a half.
That's that's fair.
So, and you sold one, what, yesterday? And I meant to go in there and buy it and just be like, just keep it. But we
That's
want to do
sweet of
that.
you.
We wanted to do that for you, man. And look, you can't sell it because we'll guilt you forever
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
sell it. So hang on to that.
yeah.
Hang on to that. I know you'll play it as well, which will be fun. So
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
and
Thank
thanks
you
for
so much
Matt.
for that.
Matt hunted that one down for you. So thanks, special thanks to Matt for finding that particular one. So
Thank you, Matt. Dude, it's honestly all my games are games that people have given me. Like I'm not even joking.
well, there
That's
you
why I
go.
don't.
Yeah,
That Brave Fencer, my mom gave that to. Like it's like it's there forever, and I just restored it and everything. So everything's like it's all stuff, and it's like that's how you get me to collect. It just locks it in because I'm like I can't. That's there forever. Like I don't think that way. I don't go. Oh, let me move this stuff. I'll go and hustle in the streets for a bit before even like looking at that. So it's like, thank you. That. Thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
man. Absolutely, we're excited to get that one for you. I've actually never played that game. I heard you say it's great. So I need to
Yeah,
play
it's
it.
great.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll play it
it's
when it
awesome.
comes in. I'll be like, I'm play Pawn's game for a week and then send it to him. So we haven't gotten it in yet. So maybe about a week or so we'll send it over to you.
That's super sweet, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So the rest of the year, I've noticed you've been doing the bucket O manuals. If you guys haven't checked out Pawn Show before, the bucket O manuals is always fun. Just make sure you have a list of what you need, or just window shop. I do that a lot. Remember when I bought like 100 manuals from you that day? I'm like, hey, I want to start getting some NES manuals. I don't have any. Just make me a
Yeah.
giant pile, and just whatever. And that kind of started my giant stack of manuals. But I needed just a primer. I needed to
Yeah.
prime the pump a little
It
bit, and
was,
that worked out good, man. The 47 Tetris manuals went to great use, and you know. I saw you had a big stack of them yesterday too. Freaking
dude, it's
Tetris manuals
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. I had a there's at one point I'll tell you guys like the monetary value because I don't remember the count. This was this was like probably like 2 years back. I had like the valuation of paper was probably like $18,000.
Yeah.
So like it was just that much. And if you guys were there for those shows, that's when we had like a, I think I had like two Bucky O'Hare manuals at the same time, and I had a bunch of the high end stuff, like stuff that we had like Lethal Weapon, we had like I think Snow Bros or something, but like
Wow.
a lot of the more and I had yeah, I had 100 Mario Bro 3 manuals. I had like 100 Mario Bro 2 manuals, and like they just don't leave you. They just kind of stick around for a while. So the Tetris, I had a whole box of Tetris manual, like just,
Yeah.
and it was probably 200 of them. And that's why, so that stack is leftovers.
Why were
That's
there
why I still got a
why are
stack.
there so many Tetris manuals? Was that a pack-in game or something as well? Like I never really followed why there's so many of them. Even I have like 50 of them. So why are there
Yeah,
so many
you just
Tetris
get them.
manuals? I mean, I know the game
I
is popular as all get
yeah,
out. I guess that's part of it too. But like nobody trashed these manuals. Like every Tetris manual survived because they're
yeah.
everywhere, literally. So it's such a weird thing.
It's thick and it's a simple game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it should be like Qbert, where it's like 4 pages, but it's like
Right.
there's like a lot of information in there. So
Yep. Hey, I'm gonna take a quick second to shout out the sponsors for tonight. We do
yeah,
get sponsorships for Horse Talk. We got two sponsorships from the Pope tonight. Thank you so much for that, man. Twice. Spider 8X, like his third or fourth Horse Talk sponsorship, and then Matt's Retro Universe coming in strong with the sponsorship as well. So shout out to those guys. Support their shows for the sellers, and then give them a follow, give them a shout out. They're good dudes. I do send something nice to every person too. So just if you do sponsor, you're still gonna get your value anyway. It's just fun to do it. And I like putting the little
absolutely.
credits on the YouTube video and stuff too. So thank y'all for that. Pawn, so dude, what's your thoughts on so I got something going on that's kind of new to me. So I decided to just get a lot of technology in like the last 2 weeks, and I'm kind of regretting it a little bit, but I'm kind of excited about it in another way.
Yeah.
So all the different camera views and OBS and supercomputers and all this
That's
crazy shit. What's your thoughts on that? Like, do you like shows that have different camera views, or video on the screen, or like, are you just old school and you just want to see the phone? Like, what's your thoughts on it? I'm kind of in the middle right now. I'm kind of transitioning, and I don't know if I'm going to go and stay there or come back. I'm just kind of figuring it out.
Dub, you can't be telling people that, bro. They're gonna misread what you just said. um, so I think that's 100% necessary. I think that's the right direction. I actually there's something I wanted to talk about here, and it is uh, it's refreshing to see you do this, you know, and it's I think Whatnot is still in its infancy
Mhm.
as a platform, and it's the I think there's a lot of sellers that they're like, dude, I need to get on there, I need to go, and I need to make money, and I need to do et cetera, because of the accessibility component of Whatnot is phenomenal. The component on this platform that I think needs a lot of attention is the potentiality of being an influencer and social media type presence, because that's what Whatnot also is. It's literally a social marketplace. And there's like a handful of people that have like they're in that process of really perfecting what that looks like, and they're doing phenomenal. They're doing phenomenal. They have that level of influence and presence. So going into like videography and going into like the camera angles and getting the right type of software, and just making all that happen, and making this show a bit more professional, and learning how to optimize it, and you know getting that attraction now. I think that's super important. You need to totally get used to that, and you should totally get polished in that and learn how to do. I should learn how to do that, because I think like we like I think hosts and streamers, and I think we need to learn how to do that. I think we need to learn how to be like that social, have that social component through Whatnot, and learn how to build on that. Learn how to, not just do like community stuff, but like be able to be a personality. So the podcast stuff, I think it's just awesome. You know, I think that's the step there. This what you want to call it, Pookie's fucking hilarious self.
Yeah,
That man has that. He's like,
you got it.
it's just he's just having a good time in front of the camera, and there's people that they have that strength off rip to really just have that entertaining community aspect where people, they don't even have to buy stuff from you. They're like, dude, I'm just happy to be here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so that's something I've just I actually been wanting to talk about more and more, and just kind of explore and see how that can manifest through streaming and through our own streams and stuff like that. But that's like a beer in conversation. That's probably like 4 or 5 beers in
Yeah.
conversation, and it's touching on creating. So anyone that's an artist here that also streams, there's always like, it's like, how can you innovate? How can you make this better? How can you do
Right.
it? And that's how I think. Like I like to be in a constant state of challenge, and I'll pay attention when someone's like, "Oh, I had a good time." I'm like, "Great," and or when someone's like, "You're a fucking idiot," I'm like, "Dude, that's your opinion. I appreciate you telling me that." Fuck you.
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Go to
So it's
hell.
like it's all good. Like it's like, okay, how can we do this, and how can so if it's a part of optimizing, then hell yeah, dude. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Keep learning and polishing it. Dimitri's a professional. I'm sure he has so many things to say about it. It's
Yeah,
so,
man. It's funny too, because Dimitri does that for a living, and I had the most freaking technical video problems doing Dimitri's horse talk out of any of them. We fried an iPad, literally fried an iPad, like it fucking blew up in the middle of it. So it was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate everybody coming on this thing. This is not a natural thing for me either. It's just more of a kind of a reach a little bit. It's interesting because we talk to everybody every day, pretty every day, almost every day. You're talking to somebody in one of the rooms, and you kind of feel like you know these folks really well. I mean, I know my mods really well. I know a lot about them and everything else, but like there's more that can be done on the platform to connect people. And I think it's important. And the number one reason Horse Talk even is a thing is because shows like yours, because you were one of my first shows, probably the first two shows I ever saw on Whatnot. And I just thought these people were interesting. I'm like, I like the games are cool. Like I hadn't seen these games in 20, 30 years, whatever. But the people are really interesting. And what they know about the games is really interesting. And I don't know all that stuff and I want to learn more about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, we should have people on so that way buyers can see the people that they're talking to and they're buying things from, get a little bit more connected to them, maybe learn something about them. It's only going to help. It should help, your stream and things like that as well. But like, more so that disconnect for buyers, especially for people that like us, like we don't normally stream with our faces on the stream. Like we're looking at the games, like we're showing stuff. And honestly, it's easier to deal with games that way, being behind the camera instead of in front of the camera. I saw Matt did it tonight. Like he was like in front of the camera, and it's like he did pretty well with it. But like I tried it a few times, I didn't do very well with it. I'm like, here's the manual, and like I'm holding it off the screen, and I can't quite figure it out. And Retro Rick does a really good job with it. I was like, holy shit,
Yeah,
there's some
yeah.
skill to this, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, that's kind of where it came from because I feel like there's really interesting characters and the way I described it was like I feel like this is a sitcom on here sometimes. Like I really
Oh
do.
yeah.
And like, you know, one person's the George Costanza, another person, is Joey from Friends. Like there's just got so many good characters on Whatnot and this show can go on forever and never interview the same person twice. Although we do need to bring back original folks as well, just with all of it. And it's been interesting on my end too, because, I asked you to come on the show a long time ago. And then it was kind of, we always wanted to do it and we did it eventually, but now it's kind of interesting because now the inbox is kind of coming this way. I'm like, hey, I want to come on the show and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, send the $500 to my address and then we'll get it set up. It's just a little
That's
bit
awesome.
slow. So Mr. Day
Yeah,
said he's just here to get naked. That's,
that's good.
that's, Go
That's
ahead,
good.
man.
That's why you do PT specifically for that.
And that's why we're on the camera and hopefully you're not uh overall. So man, you had mentioned something about like starting up some stuff in Discord. Is that still a thought? I don't remember. Maybe I'm imagining that. You said you had a couple good ideas. Maybe not quite ready to share what these ideas are yet. But anything that you want to work on, feel free to share it. We'd love to hear it.
The Discord was totally correct. I actually paid one of my mentees um to set it up because he was more tech savvy than I was with Discord, and it's functional. It exists. It was just I was so overloaded, where like I just couldn't be as present as I wanted to be, and that's it. It exists. It's called Retro Game Authenticators. I think my next show I'll probably have it up and start promoting it on Instagram and stuff like that. But the scope of that Discord was to offer people assistance when they wanted to authenticate any type of
Mhm.
prospective games that they were buying or stuff that they had. Because the people there, it's not just this guy. It's I don't know if he's here, but Vine Lodge is like so good. All right, listen, you. I'm talking to you. All right, Vine Lodge, that quiet motherfucker
Yeah.
is so good at authentication, bro. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
He's so good, and like he's like a Nintendo elder, bro. It's just kind of his collect. That's what I say. His collection's amazing. It's a literal museum. If you guys ever have the pleasure of actually seeing it, it's fucking incredible. And but he's super duper smart. He went to fucking Japan. He went to Nintendo headquarters for some.
Oh
I
wow.
forgot for what. Yeah, and then he took some pictures right and put on Instagram, and then Nintendo sent him a cease and desist because
Oh shit.
he
All
took
right.
it. But it's funny because like he has like 20 followers
But
on
now he's
his
gonna take now he's
Instagram,
gonna
and
take
they
that
were
letter
like,
and
"Get that
get it.
shit up."
Yeah, he's gonna send the letter for grading, get it come back, be like, "This is authentic letter getting banned from the Nintendo headquarters." Uh,
But
that's
he's
pretty awesome.
yeah, and he's him and several others were backing it from the get go just because of like that generalized concern of like you never want to run into you get something you pay $300 and it's not what you got so it's or what you were hoping to get and that's what like pushed that idea but it's set up it exists I just want to make sure that I'm present because it's what's the point of having a Discord if you're not on the Discord.
Right.
So I didn't have enough time to be as around as I wanted to be. And then it's Discord. You can hang out, play games, you want to go and game with somebody, you can do that. That's kind of like the whole point. It's that social media element. So um the that's kind of that was kind of the big thing. I'm working on shirts and all that stuff, but the job that just ended was a program that I had ran for about 11 years. And it's, social work type stuff. So that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of attention. And then obviously, setting up for the wedding and doing, and then the engagement before that. And it was
Right.
just, there was just so much going on.
It's a
So
busy season of your
yeah,
life right now.
yeah, absolutely. Now it's a bit more chill. I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, hopefully over the hump. It sounds like the scene for like finding games and stuff in Florida is pretty good. Would you say that's accurate?
There are if we're talking about reseller per square foot, it's about one per square foot. There's everybody and their grandmama is a reseller in Florida, and so while there are snowbirds and there are people that are retired and they're getting rid of their children's stuff, and that opportunity exists, it is I mean, there's so many people here, dude, selling. So it's like sort of
Yeah.
it's sort of like there's definitely you go to Chicago or New York it's so dense and like you're not it's very hard to find stuff over there. It's very hard to find people selling stuff over there. Over here, while there's opportunities that happen a lot, it's not you're competing against like 100 people
Yeah.
all the time. And um so it's kind of weird because like I've had to go to that where I live in like Central Florida. So there's like Brooksville, which is like an hour and a half, like west, and then like it's just a town. Like it's
Yeah.
the only town, right? And it's like I've had to go over there. I've had to go to these weird boony areas. I've had to go, and then you might find stuff, but it's kind of hit or miss. What I've seen a lot of is people that buy like they buy like storage units and they're just like, I, they'll be like, I bought this, I need to get rid of stuff, and then
Right.
they'll be in like a liquidating mindset type of thing. So like, I've seen a lot of that where they'll just like, give me $100, and
Right.
so, but same thing, you're competing against like 100 people, so it's a weird thing because I think it's. I think it's like somewhere in between. I think the potential is way higher down here than it is in like Chicago and stuff, but I don't think it's as abundant as like the like Midwest and stuff. Because I think there over there there's a lot of honey holes.
Man, it kind of goes back to that inventory conversation. I'm so happy that we have the inventory now because I used to get on those marketplace and I'm like, oh my God, I found it. First one in, right? I'll be
Yeah,
like, looks great. I pay full price, be there in an hour. 5 seconds later, I'm in my truck. Hey, somebody just offered me more money. And I'd be like,
yeah,
okay, what about our agreement? And they'd be like, well, if you want to match it, you can come get it. And I'd be like, okay, I'll match it. But if you send me another message like this again, I'm out.
yeah,
And then they're like, we don't care. We got 50 messages in my marketplace. They had a lady literally yesterday or 2 days ago, and I probably shouldn't shame her on here. I don't know her name. I don't even know who she is, but she kind of a dirtbag. But
yeah.
her reviews are like a 3.5, and she posted a CIB N64. with I think like four games
Yeah.
for $150, and I'm like, it's not like oh my god deal, but it's not bad. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. So I message her, and look, when I message her, I'm like, ain't no way I'm getting this. Ain't no fucking way I'm getting
Yeah.
this. So I message her. It's like, hey, if this hasn't sold yet, I'm willing to pay the 150. I can grab it from you tomorrow. Please let me know. And I'm 100% the mindset now. I'm not getting this. I am not getting this. So she
Yeah.
replies about an hour later. She's in talks. Let you know. I'm like, okay, I've heard this 5,000 times. It's done. It's gone. The next day, and it always happens this way. Somebody just offered me way more money. What can you offer right now today in all caps? I'm like, I would just offer you what you're asking for it, and I can't get it today anyway. I'm about to go home from work. And then she's like, okay, it's sold. I'm like, thank you. Uh, but just like, it's like, wow, you were exactly as described in those reviews. Uh, for sure. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay you full price. I mean, it's not the most killer deal in the world. Moving a CIB N64 is not, it's not that easy, you know. Sometimes people want that, but most people just want a loose console. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's nice having the inventory behind me at this point where I was like, I just don't care. Like I'll send a
Yeah.
message, you tell me no, whatever. Okay, cool. But
Yeah.
man, I remember the first like 3 or 4 months that was like gut wrenching. You're like, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
in the truck right now and go get it. Like right
Yeah.
now. And I still do that here and there, but like it's only if I feel like these people aren't going to send a million messages. But man, I have one guy literally, I had something. He's like, look, and he was a cool guy, like legit guy. He's
Yeah.
like, look, I got 50 messages, and he sent me the screenshots after I messaged him. He's like, but you're the first person to message me. I got offered a lot more money, but like, just come get it. It's all good. But look at all this. He like literally sent me a screenshot.
Yeah.
He's like, just look at this. He's like, I
Yeah.
can't believe this. Like, why did all these people want it? But just like you, man, the competition is fierce. So that's why I prefer just go and walk in my pawn shop or go to the thrift store or
Yeah.
look on marketplace here and there, or hell, people and whatnot will reach out and be like, hey, you want to buy my collection? I'll be like, yeah, buy your collection. Sure. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But the pressure's kind of off right now. I'm sure it'll come back at some point, but man, that when you're scrounging for inventory, it kind of sucks. So
Yeah. When you're in a position of like, because I scale it. I was like, you're like a reseller, and then you're a seller. Like there is a difference, and then the next step is retail, right?
mhm,
So it's like when you're like a reseller and you got to live like that,
yeah.
it's awful. Like it's awful because it's just constant. You need this. You need this, and that's like your bills. I was like, when you're a seller, it's like I don't want to get that right. Like you can
Yeah.
sit there and just like, you know, I don't need that bad,
Right.
and it changes, and it's 100%. Then like the I think a good rule of thumb is, you know, if you're a streamer, it's like you have like 2 to 3 months of inventory. Like you have that, you have security, and then you're also like you're not sitting there making bad decisions.
Right.
That's one of the worst things you can do as a seller is approach this like it's a retail type of thing where you can operate on 15-20%, and it's like you're no, don't do that,
Yeah.
like that's not a good idea. And a lot of people get into that in the beginning, just sitting into that of like this is the normal, and it's not. um but it's like but it's also really dangerous if you don't have the economic backing, because sometimes folks try to fulfill this sort of like expectation that's there of like, okay, this is going to go and sell for this, and then and they're operating right here, and then it sells right under. Then it happens
Yeah.
again, it happens again, it happens again. And if they don't have the economic backing, they're just fucking screwed, man.
Yep.
Folks that are like stable, and then they're like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity to uh, 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 create another line of income and do this, but you can support the risk. It's like that. It's you. There's space there. It's almost like, and I say this word like respectfully. It's like there's almost a level of privilege that's there where it's like the mistakes can be afforded, and
Right.
then it's like live and learn. You know, the bank isn't going to break, but it's going to suck, and I don't want to be in a position where that happens. And it's like, um, but the curve to kind of get out of there and just get that momentum and figure out what's the best sort of like margins to operate within and all that stuff is a lot faster versus like folks that are like it works or it don't. And I've seen people on Whatnot where they'll have a short-lived channel and they'll do that, they'll appear, they'll invest like 20 grand,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't work because they're operating within that scope, and it's like, and it you can't do that. Um so yeah, it's an interesting thing because it's like this can be super cutthroat or it could be super chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just kind of maybe. So
It's very interesting, man. I've been, I go through Whatnot at least once a day, and sometimes I'm trying to make a conscious effort just to keep swiping up, just to see what's out there, because it is really good to just say, hey, I'm going to watch my 7 shows this week. It's almost like my soap operas, right? I'm going to watch my pawn show. I'm going to watch my Matt show. I'm going to watch my thrifting show, my rebel show, my Greg show, my atomic show, and then I'm done. Dimitri will be on here and there. Like I kind of got this like list of like, I'm gonna watch these 10 shows like soap operas. If they're on, I'm watching just because I just want to hear the people. I'm not even looking for product anymore, whatever. I ain't even looking to
yeah,
collect anymore. It's just literally if you pop something up that I want for a collection, awesome. But I have no expectations of buying anything. I just want to hear you. I just want to see what you're doing, like what's up.
yeah,
Um, there was a lot of shows I used to watch that like how are they doing it? Like how are they running the items? How fast do they run them? Do they sudden death them? What's the rebid set at? Like that's kind of what I was like paying attention to
yeah,
and
yeah,
be like, man, why did that item go for 30% over PC? Why did that item go for 70% under PC? Trying to figure that
yeah,
stuff out is so interesting to me. I love the economics of it, but man, it
yeah,
is a hell of a learning curve
yeah,
for sellers for sure. And look, some people can operate under a 15% margin. Some people have to have a 50. Uh, Odds are the better the margin you got, the better you're going to do. I had this long discussion the other day with a friend and about like, okay, you got stuff at 50%. Awesome. But nobody wants that stuff, you know? Or you could buy, could you buy 30 copies of Mario 64 at 70%? Which one would you do better on? And it's an interesting concept. I
yeah,
don't think either one is right or wrong, but each seller has to figure out like which one works for you. I'm in the
yep,
Mario 64 business because like I know that sucker will be gone in 2 days. Like no matter what I pay for it, it's gone in 2 days,
yeah,
every single time. And not only that, then now there's buy lists that back that stuff up. Phoenix Resale, Chase, DK Oldies. There's all these buy lists that just pay cash for this stuff.
yeah,
And that actually makes hunting pretty fun as well because it's like, well, I got the backing that I know I'm going to get $75 for a Majora's Mask cash at the
yeah,
worst. Or I can get $100 on Whatnot and, it'll turn in 85 after fees. And we'll
yeah,
play that for a week and then I'll just send it off, whatever. So
yeah,
I know buyers don't like to hear that, like, oh, you're going to get more on somewhere else, but it's the truth. The reality
yeah,
is if you want it, grab it, but if not, we still gotta see. I'm not paying bills with this, which is different, and I know a lot of people don't pay bills with this, and there are a lot of people that do pay bills with this. I'm not in that boat. I do this for fun. And the second it's not fun anymore, I'm out. So um horse talk, I think, was a kind of an avenue to keep it fun as well. And
yeah,
I'm excited when we sell a good show or like tonight I did free shipping. I've only done that once, the economics on that are not very good in the grand scheme of things, but it is a
that's eBay.
celebration. Hey, it's a celebration of things.
Yeah,
We'll do it okay, whatever. But trying different stuff is really fun. And honestly, the first time I did free shipping, it was a 7% impact. And I thought it was gonna be a lot more than that. I thought it was gonna be
yeah,
like 15, 20%, but the shipping costs came out to 7% of total sales, which really wasn't bad at all.
That's not bad.
So like my mods have been putting all night, like, hey, no offers are being accepted. Yeah, because I'm paying all your freaking shipping.
Yeah,
So if you want to
yeah,
go buy that N64 at the bottom, that's going to be like $20 to ship it. I'm paying for it. So
yeah,
just buy it straight up. But anyway, I like trying stuff like that. I think it's fun. But I also think other people should try different things just to see what works.
yeah,
It's
yeah. No,
really
hard
interesting.
agree.
It's really interesting because like a $3 shipping could be, maybe you do $1,000 with $3 shipping, but you might do $3,000 with free shipping. It's just a really interesting.
Yeah,
So, Pawn, look, this was kind of crazy. The first show that I did free shipping, we did 1,700 in sales in 12 minutes. 1,700 in 12 minutes. And I
whoa,
remember like taking a picture of it. I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's like
freaking
Black
awesome.
Friday up in here.
Yeah, that's
But
amazing.
it was crazy, man. But like then it's tapered off. Like tonight, I mean, I think we sold, I don't know, 10 or 12 items, something like that. Actually, maybe more like 20. But it's kind of wild. I do now look, I want to talk about this a little bit as a buyer because you've bought, you've sold. That first purchase with the shipping, if it's like a 10 or 12, $20 item, you're paying this $5 in shipping.
Yeah,
You think really hard about whether you want that item or not. Like you really do. You're like, oh yeah, well, it's $10 PC. I'm gonna get it for 8, but then I got to pay 5 in shipping and tax. And like, man, it's almost double from that. So like I know personally, to me, it's like having a beer. If I can't have 5 beers, I ain't having the first beer, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
wh-
100%.
what's your thoughts on that? Like, do you do that as a buyer as well? Are you like really hardcore about that first or second drop and then it's pretty easy after that? Or like, is that just me?
So first, I hard agree, Dimitri. I saw what you wrote. He's talking about we over there is straight like crack, dude. It just it exists and it doesn't.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
it's uh the so sometimes like I buy if I'm buying, I'm buying to flip and I'm buying to make a profit. So it's like sometimes I'll actually like I'll communicate with the seller. I'm like, hey,
Right.
do you have any additional options? I have literally done this for like local transactions. Like I was buying something through like the Bay, and it was like they were in Florida. I'd be like, hey, weird question, just saying. If I buy this here, can I pick it up in person?
Right.
Because it cut so much from it and stuff like that, and I've done that. So if it fits my margins, I don't really care. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like it's coming back. It's not a big deal. It
Yeah.
just kind of depends on the need. I'm buying it in a sense of like as a collector. I try to picture that because I've been buying so long as a seller, like I'm just thinking of it differently, right?
Right.
But buying of it like a commodity and like this is something I would like to own and cherish and this and that. That's harder to kind of navigate because so like it's I appreciate free shipping. I think that's a cool component because like you said, it kind of cuts into that idea of like, man, or somebody just said the difference between a $75 console and a $90 console, right? It's just
Yeah.
like, dang, like that's now I'm paying over retail. And once that idea kind of sinks in, it's just like, is it worth getting? And that's tough. And like, and then taking another step into that, retail locations, they have a standard markup on any type of retro. It's usually about 15-20% if they're just kind of chill. If they're not chill, it's 30%, right? You'll have a Super Mario Bros. 3. They were selling them for 25 when it was 15 on PC, right?
Mm.
That's just the way it would flow. And um, with that in mind, it also sits with like what's expected. So somebody that's buying understands like shipping kind of exists. And I've noticed that because it's like the Bay free shipping is just standard. If you were a seller there, you're
Right.
going to have free shipping so you can operate efficiently. And that's what people expected it. And that was the culture, But when shipping prices went up, a lot of people started doing where you had to pay for shipping
Right.
additionally. And it's like when that kind of shifts, then it just becomes a part of that purchase and people think about it less, especially if it's stuff that they're looking for.
Yep.
Simple as that, right? So it's kind of like it's hard because we don't want to have a preconceived notion of like uh, people's wallets, but we also want to respect their budgets at the same time. So it's not like, oh, you can't afford this. Like it's not like it's getting away from that, going like, okay, what is the realistic expectation, which is what I try to do. So it's like it's kind of hard for me to answer a question.
Right.
I know it's
Right.
kind of,
Right.
but it's like I think if you can and it works, it's such a good way to give to the community. Um, and and like if you can't, but then you can operate within selling, under a specific threshold to offer a discount and at least make it a bit easier of a burden. I think that's awesome too. So
Dude, you know what drives me freaking crazy about Whatnot is the little. I don't even buy inventory and Whatnot anymore unless it's odd. Look, I bought one yesterday. They had a freaking wacky races manual pop up in a show. So you know what I do immediately? I go on eBay, I type in wacky races NES manual, and guess what? Zero. It don't exist. And I'm like, well, I've had this box before, so maybe I'll hold on to it. And maybe the box will come back around and I'll complete it, whatever. Or maybe I'll just put the sucker on eBay. I don't know. So anyway, I bought it. I just got in the heat of the moment. I'm like, I don't know when the next time I'll ever see this manual again.
yeah,
Maybe this is a good opportunity. Maybe this is just one I hold on to. I don't know. I was like, I'll figure it out. But you know what I hate? Whatnot, it's like all this descriptions of item number 742. And look, I did it 2 nights ago with the Wii games. I had 125 Wii games. It's just item number 42, not item number 62.
yeah, yeah,
Trying to figure out and go back. So like you get a week's worth of Whatnot bullshit in, right? And then you get a week's worth of eBay and all this different stuff. I put them all in a tote, and then twice a week I go in and like, okay, I got to put this into the accounting software now. What did I pay for this? What did I pay for that? Dude,
yeah.
I gotta watch like fucking like hour and a half of video receipts every week just to like tally this stuff, and I can't
Such,
stand it. It's getting to the point
such.
now where I was like, I just won't buy on Whatnot anymore because I just don't want to do this anymore. From the video receipts, and so it's a look. If you're auctioning 1,000 items, you don't have an item. You don't have a choice. Like you got to do that. Like I get it.
Yeah,
I did it two
yeah,
nights ago too. However, if you're selling 10 items, freaking label the damn auctions at least. Help
yeah,
somebody out here and there. There are people that actually have to like keep track of the cost and things. And bro, I'm like video receipt. Oh, that's that one. Okay. Video receipt. Oh, that's that one. I did it the other day. I looked at it, it was like 45 minutes of video receipting. I'm like, this sucks. So we got to figure something out. And I would love to see Whatnot one day get tied to PC. How interesting would that be? Like if the actual items were tied on Whatnot, everything would be dropping on PC. Everything would be
PC
like
fucked up.
75%. Yeah.
PC will be
So
fucked up.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but it would sure be interesting because they're like, it's $100 item and it sold for 46. I'm like, well, it's really a $46 item
Tough,
tonight. And I've always been
tough.
opposite with all that, man. Everybody's, auctions on Whatnot and then buy it nows on eBay. But a lot of times I auction on eBay because there's millions of people looking at the auction and I will buy it now on Whatnot. So there's a lot of things you
Yeah,
can do. You got to find your own path. I didn't know this is
yeah,
where I was going to end up either. But when I leave here, even if I sell 2 items, I feel okay. You know,
yeah.
my first 2 shows, we sold like, I don't know, dude, it was like 3 grand each show, but I probably lost money on all of it. So just auctioning it,
I
one
remember
after
you telling me
another.
about.
Dollar
Yeah,
starts and like not only that, then I had to ship that shit. It took me like 8 hours each to ship it. And I'm like, this is terrible. So to me, the bin show was nice because yeah, I might have a tote of stuff to ship. Maybe I got 12 to 15 packages and that's manageable. But that Wii show, I mean, yesterday it took me almost 3 hours just to ship. And
yeah,
I'm pretty efficient. I'm pretty fast. And like it was still 3 hours. And I was like, that kind of sucked uh,
yeah,
overall. So the auctions are fun to do. They really are, especially when you don't have a lot of pressure to do them. But there's always a repercussion. But I see folks all the time running $1 starts and then they're losing it. You know they're losing their ass because the
Oh
stuff's
yeah,
going, it's going for 50%. So unless you got it for 35, you didn't even break even if you even got it at 35. So you're losing. And then insult to injury, you got to go pack and ship that shit after.
yeah.
So
Gotta be reminded.
every time that I pack and ship something and I'm like, I lost money and I got to go do this, I'm like, that's the worst. So, highly don't recommend that. So, stick to
Yeah,
your guns. If it's the difference of making money, losing money, or breaking even, try not to lose it.
yeah,
Just
yeah. No, dude,
so,
like that's the right risk assessments. It's always there. So it's I've had um I've had a couple failed shows. It's not many, and that's not like a gloat or nothing. It's just like I think it's really hard for people to go, this isn't working. Let's do something else.
yeah,
And I with like dub and stuff, I've been like, hey man, I think I'm gonna stop, and I've done that. And
yeah,
I'll just stop and like
yeah,
and change whatever the hell I'm doing to something else and hope and you know, and I've had some success that way. And it's like um there is a level of like discomfort when you're streaming that's there all the time because you're sitting there and you have to be a host, you know, and you have to cater to people that are taking time to spend with you because that's just being respectful, right? You have to uh, like make sure folks are good. And um you have that, and then you also, if you decide to do a dollar start show, you also have to take on that risk factor of like, this might sell for $1. And
yeah,
then, and this is the probably the hardest thing, is you cannot, and you as in everybody, we cannot uh we can't buy or shame, right? If
yeah,
something sells
yeah,
for $1 and it was ran for $1,
yep,
then you know, hey, that it is what it is. Congratulations. Like
yep,
that's the it is what it is. And it's like, and I think that's one of the harder things to do just overall, where it's like, yeah, that's part of being on here. That's part of, you know, putting that risk in. But it's
yeah,
like, um, it I don't know. It's hard because when I first started here, the hot stream was a surprise set.
yeah,
Everybody, listen. Everybody was doing mysteries. Everybody was doing mysteries, man. If you didn't have a chaser, you're gonna find a chaser, and everybody was doing mysteries, man.
yeah,
And there were streamers. That's all they did, man. Like they wouldn't do normal shows. They only did mysteries, and then like they would uh they would do dollar starts. And then, dude, some of those bags, you guys remember, they would go for like $200, man. And like the average was like, the average would be like 60. And the
oh,
bags would go for $100, $200. And you'd be like, what the fuck is happening? You know, it's like, that was
dude,
a very degenerate time of whatnot. I'm just going to say that. And, but that's what I started doing. That's when I did the NES surprise sets, and I only did NES surprise sets. And like, the risk factor wasn't, it was like there, but it wasn't really there, you know.
right,
Like it was like you run stuff and that expectation was just kind of there because it was cultivated with a it was still super niche at Whatnot. If you're a Whatnotter, people are like, who the fuck, what the fuck is Whatnot? Like it was like, so like you just had this group of people that were so used to, you just put something on there, it didn't matter what it was, you run it for $1, it's gonna sell for more than $1.
right,
And that birthed some level of entitlement from sellers that were not good people. And
yeah,
so it's always interesting to me because it's like you have you have so much responsibility as a seller, as a streamer, you know, because that's what we are. Even if it's a little tiny, you know, pocket on the streaming culture, that's what we are. You're a streamer, I'm a streamer. Dimitri, you're a streamer. Sweet, when she chooses to do it,
yeah,
is a streamer. And it's like you have to respect the room and the culture that you've cultivated, and you have to respect the people. And it's there are so many like little pocket stressors when you're doing your thing. And
Mhm.
are you going to make enough money? Are you going to sell something for $1? And then after you sell it, are you going to have to ship it and be reminded that you shouldn't have sold it for $1?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then you lose money on the one item. Yeah,
You
you
know,
can't you
are we
can't
going
make
to be
nothing on a
miffed
dollar.
in that moment and then screw up the next potential sell because we're like, oh, you're a horrible person for buying that for $1 and taking advantage of me. You know, it's like, and then the next one goes for $1 because it's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
it's super interesting in that side. And at the same time, it's like I feel like we have a responsibility to be like, fun, man. Like if it's like you said, it's like watching the soaps, right? I
Yeah.
feel like all of us need to just kind of be on that like uh how can we be entertaining and still contribute to like you know make sure people are happy. Yeah, are you getting crunk with your crew?
Yeah.
you know
Are you
I
exercising? Are you
probably
on the
should do a bar
treadmill?
fight only stream where we're all just sloshed. that's
Dude,
gonna that's my April special.
bro, you missed the one. I had one of that nature not too long ago, and my mods kept it afloat somehow, and yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
it was just a rough night, but lots of fun. However, I had no idea what was happening, so the mods were pretty much just running it. Dude, I kind of wish they would give us like more permissions for mods. Like, I would literally let them do the offers and everything. Like, I don't care. Like, just turn it all on, let them do it. Like, I trust
That's
them. I know
awesome.
they're gonna do the right thing. So yeah, man, it's kind of cool. Look, I find myself, it's interesting. You talked about the buyer shame for the bids and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I've literally gotten to a point now where like I won't bid first no matter what, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to steal something from them. And look, that's a me thing. That's not a you
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
like
That's
I'm
why
literally waiting and I'm
that's
like, oh, that's a great deal. That's
yeah.
a great deal. That's a great deal. I'll let it hit zero. Greg ran a freaking purple Capcom to the game tonight for $2. And I just like let it hit zero because I was like, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. However, if one
Yeah.
MF bids $2, it's mine. so so that's the current strategy there. But yeah, I'm sure other people are thinking the same exact thing, right? Like, I'm just not going to be the first one because once it's bid on, it ain't yours no more. You
Oh
got
yeah,
to
it's gone.
accept it. It is gone at
It's
that
gone.
point. And it ain't the person that bought its fault that it didn't go for anything. Because guess what? They might have had a pre-bid that was $100 more than what it landed at. Like, it's very
Yeah.
possible. I've
Yeah.
had CIBs like that, man.
Yeah.
I've had a couple where I bid probably $50 to $75 more than where the auction stopped on pre-bid.
Yeah.
And it ain't my fault that it stopped. It's actually, I gave you the highest chances of making more money. So, but yeah, dude, the buyer shame is crazy. And then the freaking streamer is just like fussing at the people, the chat. Come on, chat. Dude, if you say the word chat, I'm out. I'm literally turning the stream off. The second you say the word chat, I'm out of the stream because I can't stand it. Like it's you forget that they're people. Like, you
Yeah.
completely forgot that they were people. You call them chat like they're a like AI bot. You know what I mean? No, they're people watching this thing, and like they're spending their time
Don't kink
watching,
shame, Beak.
yeah, watching your shit. And well, put it this way, I do like watching Skylar. I think it's just hilarious. However, the man, it's I don't know if it's arrogance or what it is, but man, there are a couple big streamers on here, guys making millions, and you know it for a fact because you've seen the
Oh yeah.
YouTube channels, you've seen all of it,
Millions.
and they lose their shit when it doesn't go for 100% of PC on auction, like they paid 90% for the item. I'm like, there ain't no way you paid over 50%. It still went for 85%. You get a higher discount than we do because you're a streamer, and like you still bitching. Like, why are you bitching? Just run the next item. Stop bitching. So I get a little frustrated with that stuff too. It's like you can't literally do a show on YouTube showing us that you pay 50% or less on everything, and they get mad at us because we didn't pay 100% on the auction item. Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make
That's a
sense.
that's that's a I have thought about that so much. That right there, it's almost like a duality where it's like I have to source well and be responsible as a seller. But that's my business, right?
Right.
And it's like be and then when it but what happens when you're like going around and you start videoing yourself making deals and stuff like that. And people do like that, but then it's like you're also when you're cultivating something like this where it is about, like, in my opinion, you're making friends, even when you're like even if you see each other like once a year at a convention, like, I think you're making friends, you're building some level of friendships and you're having some level of rapport. That's really hard to balance that business perspective of like,
Right.
hey, I'm being transparent, showcasing all this, and then like full ass transition to like pressuring a sale. That's so weird to me. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because like it's an auction. Like the second the first person bid, it's out of your hands, man. Like
That's not, you own
you
it.
can't get mad when it goes for 80%, and you still made money. Like I don't care what you say. Yes, you have employees, you have overhead. I get it. But you didn't lose money on that deal. That one item did not
That's
lose
that.
money. You might say you lost money because of after my payroll and my taxes and this, that, and the other. No, no. The reality is it was still a net profitable item. You just didn't make the full margin that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But the anger that comes out of these folks, that's what drives me crazy, is the anger
Yeah.
of it. Like it's like your dad yelling at you because you didn't freaking put the garbage can out. Uh, you know? So that's crazy, man. I'm like, what where is the entitlement coming from that
Yeah.
that's a killer deal? I was like, that was 94% PC and it had damage. I was
Yeah.
like, it was damaged and you got 94%. How is that a deal when you paid 40%? And I know it because I watched it on the video and then you were
That's
still
funny.
pissed. So it's just, I don't know. Look, I get it. You got to make money. People got to make money, this, that, and the other. But like, I think people forget really quickly.
Dude,
Like,
Benny for sure, dude. Yeah.
dude, it's crazy, man.
It's
It's
like
freaking
crying as
crazy.
you're just crying as you're swiping. No,
It's
I'll
it's
do better.
it's interesting, man. You know which one I do? I do like watching I do like watching Retro Rick's channel. I was watching him, I think last night he was on. I bought
Yeah.
one N64 game. I'm still going for that whole set, all the boxes now. I got all the carts last year and
Yeah.
it's like never ending, man. It's like never ending. So I got one and like he was like you could tell he was genuinely excited that I added one to because he knew I was going for the set, right? And
Yeah.
yes, he did okay, but like it didn't even go to PC. But you know what? He didn't yell about it. He didn't bitch about it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Now he will get a little irate when it goes for like 60% because
Oh, for sure.
I think he probably overpays for some stuff. He had a Pokemon game that I truly believe that he lost money on yesterday. He's like, "Oh my god, I paid X amount." And he said it so quickly, the exact amount he paid. I'm like, he's not
Yeah.
lying. Like that's what he paid. So I tell people in mine all the time. I'm like, look, I'm gonna make $3 if I accept this offer. Like, I'm okay with that, but I can't give you another offer until you let me make a little bit of money to
Yeah.
do all this stuff. And I've actually gotten a couple people in the chat be like, "That's your business. Like, you don't need to be telling us that." And that. I was like, "Look, I'm just being real with you. Like, if you don't want to hear it, that okay, maybe I had to pay 80% on an item after taxes and shipping because I still had to pay and get it here."
Yeah.
Then don't listen or leave or whatever. But like, that doesn't mean it's almost like people think I'm lying immediately because I say it. And I'm like, I can tell by the way that people
Yeah.
write things. But here's the reality. If I'm super transparent all the time, just listen because maybe I can't do the deal on that item, but I can do a great deal on Skate or Die when I have 9 copies of it that I got in a lot. But I can't
Yeah.
give you, $80 off the Zelda Ocarina of Time CIB. Like it's literally like that's always how it goes down too. It's like there's always a 35% off offer on a first party N64 game, Mario 64, Mario Kart, Ocarina of Time. I'm like, guys, this stuff is like liquid gold. It's like physical gold. Like
Yeah.
this is just as good as the dollar bill. And you just can't do stuff on things like that. But not only that, a lot of times, unless we got a big lot, you didn't get a deal on it. You probably had enough margin to move it uh, quickly. And at least that's what I'm trying to do with a lot of that stuff. But like, unless I got it with a lot that was like 5 grand or more, I ain't getting no deal on Mario 64. You're gonna get an okay deal, enough to give you a little margin to move it for average. Um, But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. I know that aggravates buyers a lot. And I know I've said it a million times as well, but you just got to know, like, if you're asking for that game that specifically, everybody's asking for that game that specifically as well. You're not the only person.
Yeah,
So
there are some titles where it's like I know, and it's funny because you start learning like when you sell in like multiple places, you just know like one game. You're like, I can't. Like we as a whole on Whatnot is cursed. Okay,
yeah,
we is crack everywhere else,
yeah,
dude. Like we is such a desirable video game like almost everywhere else. And it's like, and you start learning, how to do that, and it's like, and it's just it kind of, it's normalized. It just becomes like this just kind of goes over there, and this kind of goes over there, and you'll hear me talk about it. I was like, yeah, I get stuff all the time. I just don't sell it on here, because they have their designated places. And I Rick is great. He's just I enjoy his streams. They're engaging. He has that, but he got the YouTube charm, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's what
yeah.
that is. So he knows how to like talk to the camera, but make it seem like he's talking to you and make it seem like you're in the room. Like, and that's a skill.
Yeah.
Um, he rated me. I think was it yesterday or whenever I was streaming, which that was nice.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome,
didn't know
man.
what happened because I had the store open, but
Yeah, he's dropped in
and
here. He's dropped in here like 5 or 6 times and hung out for 10 minutes here and there. So
yeah,
it's been pretty cool. We'd love to get him on the podcast. Look, he's busy. Like we'll do what we can do, right? So
oh yeah, no,
maybe maybe one day, even if it's just 30 minutes or whatever, it'd be cool. Get down. He's probably my favorite one that's like in the spotlight. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I get
yeah,
it. And look, it's kind of admirable too because like I can never do what that dude's doing, and I don't want to try to do what he's doing either. I don't have that personality. Pookie could do it. I can't do it. So it's not my
movie's a good
skill
time.
set. So
Yeah, so
anyway, it's
but
interesting.
it goes into it's frustrating because and I think like when you're a seller that cares about people and you care about people that you serve, it's also like seeing folks that are like mistreating people because of for whatever it's like it also hits that note too where it's like what you're saying. It's like, you know, you don't have to say that. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to take the burden of and the responsibility of operating within margins and put it on the people that are helping you, make those margins happen.
Right.
And I a couple of folks, Benny said something about this where it's like you can lose money somewhere and then you can also, that's what I actually operate on. I operate on averages. Look, I call it the law of averages. Like it's like you can totally desire to want to, I want 120% on this item. And it's like, and it sells for 85%, but then you sell something else you didn't think you were going to sell for a higher. And it's like 9 times out of 10, it'll work out. It'll work out. You take care of the back end, it will work out. Like it's fine. And I think folks just kind of they fall, certain people fall into that level of entitlement because they'll see consistency with certain products. And then they're like, okay, I expect to receive the same. And then they don't care. They don't take care of the back end. That's it. And it's like they're buying stuff for 65, 70%. They're not considering commission costs. They're not considering all the other elements. They're not considering a buyer base and be having a respectful buyer base. They're considering entitlement and they're considering that they deserve to get whatever profit and whatever it is and whatever that. We don't deserve shit.
Yeah.
I'm a PSA. All right. I am a seller.
Yeah.
I find nice things. I don't deserve shit. I hope that I make the sale. I hope that I hit. And a lot of times people was like, oh man, thanks for finding me. I'm like, dude, thanks for buying it, bro. Like,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah,
dude, I
exactly. For
can't
sure.
stress that, bro. I'm like, thank you for allowing me to do this, in the frequency that I can do it in. I do not exist on this platform without the folks that support me on this platform. That is a bottom line. Um, they're- so it's but it's tough because, and if you know, there's a Reddit subreddit, or there's a for whatnot,
Hmm.
and it's everything that we're talking about here, and
Oh no,
there's
really?
so much buyer shame, and there's so much.
Wow.
Oh
Okay.
man,
Yeah,
so
I don't do the Reddit. I don't really do Discord stuff too much. I don't know. I feel like the plate's already kind of full. You know, it's doing this actually is one of those things of like I put the kids to bed. I'm like, oh shit, and I gotta go do a talk show. It's literally how it arrives, and then once we get into it, I was like, oh, that was fun. You know, I'll do it again. I just need some space between them because
yeah,
I mean, you work. You work all week, and then you stream all night, 4 nights a week, and it's just like when do you take a break? So at some point, maybe during the summer or whatever, I'm probably going to shut it down for maybe like 3 weeks or something like that.
yeah,
I'm still having fun with it. The technology stuff still making me nervous. I bought a whole new setup. The freaking computer crashed twice on the first two OBS streams, so I had to go buy another computer and um, we're working through it. I'm excited for it, but on the same token, it makes it nervous. I don't feel like I have to have it, but I would like to evolve it. I'd like to make it better and look better. You know, whatever. The main reason I'm even doing is because the music comes through clearer on OBS than it does on the phone. Because iPhones like to like silence your background and all that stuff, all that noise
yeah,
canceling and stuff. So yeah, man, it's good. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Bring back the bar fights on the regular basis. That was always the best part. And it was cool stuff too. But the show part of it, you know, you
yeah.
got the music, right? And
Yeah.
I can hear the song in my head right now. Um and
It's
then what's
freaking
it
Queen, dude.
yeah, dude, like what's it gonna go for and what is it, you know? Because then you didn't even know what the
Yeah,
item was, and that's your thing, and it's cool to have your thing. Tomorrow night I'm doing a surprise set. I do one maybe like twice a year, for the most part,
that's
but
awesome, man.
my goal for every surprise set is you won't see another surprise set like this surprise set. That's what I'm trying to do. So the last one was like a purple Capcom one. It was like 10 or 12 all purple games. I got reported that night, which was awesome for giving away a
Yeah.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. CIB gave it away, got reported for it. Um, and tomorrow night we got 20. So I've never had that many, but there's 20. There's a lot of risk in that for me if they don't sell because I still got to run them. But yeah, man, we got a CIB Battletoads Double Dragon. That's the chaser for
That's
NES.
sick.
For
Yeah.
NES, not for SNES, for NES. So, and there's a lot of good games in there. We got a Castlevania 3. They're all CIBs. Castlevania 3, there's a Zelda 1. There's all kind of shit in there. But
It's
like
fucking premium
I,
right there.
I want people to come in and see and be like, I've never seen a surprise set like this. Usually it's like, you know, eight $5 games and $200 games, and hopefully I don't get the shitty one, but
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, man. The Capcom one sold out in like 45 seconds. So
That's sick,
I
dude.
don't know if I'm expecting this one to sell out in 45 seconds. We'll hang out for a little while, but um, yeah, it's like $100 buy-in. The average on them, though, and I know you can't talk about all this. I'm talking about it anyway because it's a different show. But the average is actually over the buy-in, so that's pretty cool in itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's we get, they made a rule where you couldn't talk about it, so I would never, but every time for my buy-ins, it's always going to be a couple bucks discounted every single time. And it's
yeah,
like, and if you guys do the math, you can figure it out. You know what I mean? That Near Mint DuckTales, that shit was like, I don't know, probably like the average was like $10 less. Like that was, but that's the way to do them. And I'm glad you do them like that. I'm glad um, when I started with the surprise sets, I always started at $25. I never did dollar, so I did 25. And it was like, so I wouldn't lose my shit,
right.
because I didn't, and they would always take off, and we always did pretty good, and it was always NES CIB cart back, at least cart box manual, and I always did 20 pools, and it was like for me it was about consistency. You know what to expect. You know what the floor is. The floor isn't like Call of Duty
Yeah.
loose. Call of Duty for Modern Warfare 3 for the Wii loose. It's like,
Scratch with a
like,
scratch disc.
yeah, it was scratch disc. Yeah. It might be if you might get a Tetris 1 and 2, Dimitri.
Yep.
So, you might get an Operation Wolf. There was a couple of times where people pulled stuff, and
Bro, you get
I
I got one
felt
of the
bad.
worst. I got one of the worst
I
ones
felt
ever.
bad.
I got a championship bowling, I think was my last one I got from you. But hey, it was a clean championship bowling and had all the inserts, which was pretty cool. So
That one was pretty nice. That one was
yeah,
pretty
it was pretty nice. But I called it too. I'm like, I'm getting championship bowling, and sure as shit, championship bowling, just
nice.
like that. I'm like, well, that's about right. So I'm still trying to figure out how Matt rigged all the giveaways and won like 6 giveaways in one night the other night. So we'll figure it out at some point. So cool. Well, Pond, we went way over the normal time, man. Thanks for hanging out. We enjoyed talking to you tonight.
I appreciate that, man. This was nice. It was full day. You can tell by my
Yeah, same,
um
same. I've been going since 5. Yeah,
I'm usually like this.
Schwab, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Well, Pond,
Yeah, for sure.
tell everybody what you got going on, man. Where can they check you out if they haven't seen you before? Give them the lowdown before we wrap it up.
Well, if you want to be up to date with stuff, and I not now I'll now because I'm unemployed, I'll be updating Instagram a bit more frequently. So Pawnopoly store is my Instagram, and you can kind of just, if you don't know who I am, you can see the last like 2 to 3 years of posts and see what has gone through my grimy hands, and the Nintendo variety. The I am committing to one show a week at least. I am currently fielding out the day for that one show to see what best works, and what I can commit. So you might see it appear on different days, and that is, it's going to be NES Essentials or Nintendo Essentials, something of that variety, and maybe a pop up here and there. But I'll be scaling that appropriately to eventually 2 shows a week, and just kind of sitting in that for a little while. So you can expect that my profile to start filling up in April a bit more thoroughly. And it's, NES CIBs, NES carts, NES paper, NES inserts. And later on in the year, I'll reapproach N64 and SNES and stuff like that again. But for now, we're just kind of going back to the roots here. So that's honestly about it. I'll be doing. Oh, one last thing. Me and Retro Memolo will be doing some projects together. But so that's to come. That's probably going to come in like May or a little bit later. I'm moving with my wife in June. We already got approved for the place, so that's happening. But after that, I'm doing full steam. We're doing Pawnopoly merch, all that good stuff. And yes, I'll have my own private office, like full blown. We're doing bigger desk. I'm gonna probably torch this one. And I would like to do more face cam stuff. But I have to. I gotta see. We gotta figure that out. It'd be
Hey,
kind of
man.
dumb to face cam, and I can't.
Yeah.
So
Hey, big hurdle tonight for you, Pawn. Like you're out there now, bro. You're out there. So you
you
start seeing your face now.
dude, I'm fucking listen. The work I was doing, like, there's pictures of me with like the mayor. There's pictures of me with like the chief of police. There's pictures of me with like on multiple like company websites and stuff with like. So I have a fucking
That's what I was
website
trying
with
to
my
tell you.
big ass face.
We all know what you look like. You just don't want to get on the camera. I'm like, bro, I've seen your wedding picture. I've seen everything. Like I already know what you look like, man. Just get on the camera. Well, look, thank you to Retro Mimolo as well. I was tagging him a little bit like, about a month or so ago, and I was like, will you just go kick Pawn in the nuts and tell him to come on the Horse Talk already? So you got to give him the assist. And then you like to scare me tonight with hearing from you about 3 minutes before we went live. So that was cool of you
My
as
bad.
well. But I
Yeah,
expect nothing less. You keep it interesting all the time, man. So
that was, yeah. It was emergency. That's all. It was and I it was like all right, everything's good, and I was almost home, and yeah, man, it's like that's stuff happens. You got to adapt and overcome. That's
I
how
hear
that's
you.
how it is. So it is what it is.
I hear
But I
you.
do apologize for that.
Oh no, you're
But
good, dude. I'm just messing with you. The guys, you'll check. You can find this episode on YouTube, Horse Talk Game Cabin, probably in about a week from now, probably around April or so, if you're looking for it there. Pawn, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. Look forward to your shows, and take care. And we'll see you soon, man.
peace out. Good night, everybody.
Good night.